Kuznetz.
Kuznetz. He's a NASA. He was with us last night. We talked a little bit about the space shuttle, but we didn't have time to show us a collection of clothing articles that have been, I guess, developed as a result of all the designs and technology that's been in the space program. And so we asked him back tonight, which we thought was a good idea.
Yeah.
And he accepted. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this, would I? Of course he did. This is Dr. Lawrence Kuznetz, as in cousin.
As in cousin.
The staff helps me like that because I have trouble sometimes. Would you welcome back Dr. Lawrence Kuznetz? You know, this timing worked out real well because this morning, as you well know, and those of you who saw it on television, they test fired the shuttle for the first time, and I imagine people were a little bit worried, were they not? Because if that had not worked, you've got to admit, if something would have happened or that would have fallen over, or the engines would not have fired, it's been delayed
2.5 years.
2.5 years anyway. That would have been another setback, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we feel pretty confident in the engines now. It's been, this is the last major test before launch, and those engines are very amazing.
How big are they? What kind of horsepower? Or is
they
that
have the power of 23 Hoover dams, 200 Queen Marys. One of the engines, one of the pumps for the engines, develops 85,000 horsepower and fits in a bread box.
That's just the pump?
That's just the pump. Horsepower, it's about 7 million horsepower in each engine, each of the three.
Good Lord. And they worked this morning.
They work.
How long will those fire now when they take off? You had a 17 second. It was supposed to be about 20, but I think it was about 17 seconds this morning.
It's 580 seconds is the nominal
That's when
firing.
Then they cut off, and by that time it should be in orbit.
Right.
Okay, that's scheduled for when?
April 17th.
April 17th. Okay, now last night we did not get a chance to get to this part of the interview because of all the technology in the space program. They've developed all these other things for civilian use, right? Clothing and various things. Shall we, or do we look at them here or do we go over here?
Over there.
Well, shall we go over here?
Sure.
Okay. Now, we might as well start here since this is the most obvious, right?
Well,
this obvious is the space suit that the guys wear, right?
This was a duplicate of the spacesuit that went to the moon.
Right.
It's actually a miniature spaceship. What it does is it provides oxygen and removes carbon dioxide, removes body wastes, controls body temperature,
right.
Provides pressure, protects you against environments that if you face the sun would heat you up to 460 degrees above zero, and if you face away from the sun would cool you down to 250 degrees below zero.
Yeah, now this looks very bulky, but of course most people I'm sure know that gravity is about 1/6 on the moon as to what it is here.
It weighs about 30 pounds when you're walking around on the moon.
Yeah, and if you had to walk around on Earth, this would be terribly cumbersome, wouldn't it?
Very, very cumbersome.
But you saw them. Remember when they were skipping along the moon? This thing weighs very little on the moon.
That's right. One very interesting thing about this garment is that if you were to try to get into it and do work, it would be like stepping into a closet, closing the door, and trying to do deep knee bends when the closet was heated up to 95 degrees. You overheat tremendously. So in order to solve that problem, we had to come up with a fix that would enable people to work in hot environments, and this was the fix that was developed.
Okay, let's go over here now. And what is this?
This is called a liquid-cooled garment. It's the first thing an astronaut puts on before he gets in.
Oh, I see. This is like long johns.
It's like long johns, only it's got tubes stitched into it. And these tubes are hooked up to a pump.
Oh, all through here?
All through.
Yeah, plastic tubing.
It's hooked up to a pump, and that pump is driven by cold water and a battery that's in this backpack.
Right.
And the harder you work, the colder the water you ask for. And we discovered something very interesting about this. Contrary to what a lot of people think, sweating is just not all that good for you.
Well, it's not. That's what they used to say. If you perspire heavily, that's good. It brings out all...
Yeah, but when you sweat, in order to sweat, you have to be under stress.
Yeah. Now, do they make these things for, say, people who have to work outdoors under terrible temperatures, or would you have to have this kind of gear?
You would if you were in space, but there is a contractor for NASA that's developed a miniature version of this that anybody can wear.
Right.
You want to try this on?
Well, let's just see what it looks like first. What is that? Just it goes around the chest?
It goes around the chest like this.
Yeah. Snaps on.
Ever-present
good old
Velcro everywhere.
What would we do without Velcro?
And then you...
Now, you have to carry what?
Put this little cap on.
Jill, I could be walking around the street with this outfit. What is all this gear?
This is a little pump and an ice pack.
You mean I'd have to carry this too?
Yeah, well, you might. Here, lift your arm up.
Lift my arm up, okay.
There you go.
So this is, it says cold. In other words, you turn this,
Yeah.
and this heats all of this, and also...
Well, then you turn this button here.
It's not working, is it?
Oh, yes, it's working now. Just wait a minute.
You mean there's actually... You have a little fan there. There's little...
You know, it tells you whether or not it's working. You're not going to feel it through your jacket.
But I'll feel it.
You'll feel it in your head.
Yeah.
If you wear it, you get cold. It's kind of like taking a cold shower with your clothes on and not getting wet.
It is wild. Now, where would you wear this?
This is made by Life Support Systems, and it's for specialized industrial applications like for mines and for steel factories and plants where you can't really cool people down.
Hey, that's sensational. Okay.
Okay.
Now, that pumps, in other words, it cools the water. The water is pumped through.
Right.
Just like a refrigerator.
Right.
And
right. And you don't perspire as much, and you don't get dehydrated, and you can work in hot environments much longer.
Oh, that's crazy.
As a result.
Okay, what else we got here?
We have another version of the same thing. You want to put this on?
Sure, what is it?
Put it on.
Oh, this feels great. What's in there?
This is a miniaturized package that uses a new breakthrough in chemical technology.
Is there ice in there?
It's not ice. It's a special
Is that one of those things that you break and then it becomes...
No, it's similar to that, but it's made by a new company called Techniclose.
Could you wear this if you play tennis?
Yep.
Outside when it's hot?
Yep.
It's sensational. It's really cold.
And what this is, what all these garments are, Johnny, is they represent... here's another one. A bunch of them here that they make. You want to put this one on?
I mean, the hat, too?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Now, that's a smart idea. Are these out? Can civilians buy this kind of stuff?
Yep. And
How long will this stay cold now before you have to...
Oh, that can stay cold up to 4 hours.
That's not a bad idea.
And here's a hard hat version.
And that's got also
Same
the
kind of
cooling
thing.
thing inside. Very smart idea.
Now, one interesting sidelight to all these garments is that when you walk around with these, you carry your own environment with you.
Right.
Now, normally our energy systems are used to heat and cool the air that we walk through.
Right.
Now, if you think about it, we're using fuel to heat and cool air in houses,
right,
and in cars and in office buildings. If we were to heat and cool ourselves with garments like this, we would be able to reduce our energy expenditures tremendously. We just haven't quite gotten to that point.
You'd have to wear this to bed, though, wouldn't you? I mean,
well, yeah, but no, if we're going in that direction towards miniaturization, and if we can do that, we're going to save an enormous amount of energy.
That could happen eventually.
Eventually.
What? Okay, what do we got? Real quick, if we can finish up.
We have here a running bra.
It's a running bra.
By Protogs, and what this thing does is it works exactly the same way as a spacesuit. It's got spandex and Velcro fabrics.
Right.
It removes heat and perspiration. And it's also good for maternity use because the straps come off.
Right.
It provides a lot of support. And the thing that is similar to these two is that this was designed by a computer.
Yeah.
And it was tested with slow-motion videotape cameras and bounce
What's
and
this?
treadmills and, well...
You're getting too scientific.
Yeah,
I think we're about out of time. We only had real quick, so...
Okay, one other thing is this garment was developed in a cooperative course with the University of Houston and NASA. It's a sleeping bag on the surface,
right,
but it also becomes a hiking suit. The way it becomes a hiking suit...
Well, you can actually wear it.
Yeah, you just get into it as a sleeping bag, and then...
Oh, I see, and then the daytime...
Then you unzip the sleeping part like this, and you unzip this part, and you bring these two together like this.
And then wear it as a garment.
And you wear it as a garment, and the top comes off, and it has legs, and... good friend and colleague of mine, Matt Radnowski, has developed a lot of garments like this at the University of Houston.
So there are a lot of...
Here's a leg like, and there's another leg, and a jacket comes off and switches around.
So there are a lot of offshoots to this for civilians.
Yeah.
Doc, thanks for staying over tonight and showing us this.
Sure,
really
my pleasure.
fascinating. Thanks very much.
Okay.
There we go. We'll be right back.
The secret of the Colombian coffee bean was passed from the grandfather of Juan Valdez to the father of Juan Valdez, and then to Juan. For in Colombia, it is an art to pick the coffee bean at the moment of perfect ripeness. It is an art that is passed from generation